So something that's been on my mind lately is a topic that is about nature, about the air, the atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, the air we breathe. In Enoch chapter 18, Enoch goes and sees the treasuries of the winds. And, excuse me, and he says that he saw how God had furnished with the winds, with them, the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. Apparently not. It's sorry guys, lost my train of thought. So Sean was saying that it mentions that he furnished with them, and meaning in addition to the winds. But see, those whole 5 verses are about the winds. And the second part, the second sentence in verse 2, I think, it says very clearly, the 4 winds bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And the word bear means to hold up or to carry, or to, what was the other thing that it said? Something about carrying a load, supporting a load or something like that. And one interesting thing was, Sean was like, as we're reading this, I'll try to quote the first couple verses, because you got to understand what it says in those first few verses to understand maybe a difference between how me and Sean are reading the verses. But there's something very clear that I want to point out. But so let's see, he says, I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the 4 winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And that's all the further I want to go right now. That's just verses 1 and 2. But it is what Sean said to me was, are winds the same as a firm foundation? And I'm saying, according to Enoch, yes. And then Sean kind of like scolded me. No, it doesn't, brother. It says this or whatever. And then he goes and starts explaining it. And then he changed the subject to the firmament or whatever. But the point I want to make is that this is a quote from verse 2. It says, I saw the 4 winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And that word bear, it means hold up. So the point I'm making is that when we're reading scripture or whatever, these apocryphal books or Enoch or whatever, when we're reading those and something, we believe what it says in the book, or we believe that it's a valid book, when something goes against what we already know, and in this case, the firm foundations of the earth literally are the winds bearing the earth. They're holding up, they're supporting, they're the foundation of, they're the pillars of, they're the pillars of the heaven. It says that right in those 5 verses in Enoch chapter 18. So it's not me making up an idea that the winds are what hold up the earth and the firmament of the heaven. I got a piece of carpet flying around back there. But it's Enoch that said that. He said, I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. When I read that, it says, to me what it says is, I saw how he had furnished with the winds the whole creation and the firm foundation of the earth. So that's how I read it. Sean reads it that it's talking about three different things. I saw how he had furnished with them, like along with them, or in addition to them, in addition to the winds, the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. Which you can read if you want, but Sean was saying, see, Joe, you're giving a like a model or whatever of biblical cosmology that goes against the firmament or something like that. And I'm saying, no, it doesn't. It's something very clear that Enoch said. So in this case, it doesn't matter how you read the first sentence, if you read it in addition to, or whether you read it the way I do, and saying that the winds were furnished the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. It doesn't matter. Go to verse 2 where it says, I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. That's the foundation. They hold it up. That is the foundation of the earth, or the pillars, foundation of the earth is probably the best way I can put it. So this is an example. Sean thinks the idea that the winds hold up the earth and the firmament of heaven, which Enoch says verbatim, he thinks it's a ridiculous idea. So the point I want to make with this video is not to rip on Sean or something. He'll come around. When we're presented with something from the holy prophets that goes against our understanding of something, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to believe the holy prophets? Or are we supposed to stick with our understanding that we got from this world? I'm not going to stick with what this world says, because it's wrong. Just because the firm foundations of the earth sound like something solid, well, according to Enoch, it's the winds, the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. That's Enoch 18 verse 2. And then it's three more verses, 1 through 5, that it's talking about the winds. It's talking about the winds of the earth that have their station between heaven and earth. And then it's also talking about the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of all the stars and the sun and moon to their setting. So this is just something that I've been learning, and I was able to see Sean totally in denial or rejecting what Enoch said, and even like scolding me. No, it doesn't, brother. Say after I said, well, that's what Enoch says here, because he said, you think the winds are the same as firm foundations? And I said, well, that's what Enoch's saying. No, he isn't, brother. But then the next verse, and he even read the verse, I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. I really have to wonder how someone can read that and not understand that those are holding up the heaven and the earth. And it talks about the end of heaven and earth, where the firmament, or where the firmament at the end of heaven and earth, the firmament of the heaven above. And so the end of heaven and earth, that's where heaven and earth end. And that's up in the sky, because earth goes up so far and then heaven goes from there. The firmament of heaven. God set the sun, moon, and stars in there. NASA calls it space. The flat earthers call it fake. But it's darkness. It's outer darkness, where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So don't partake in her sins. There's a city, the holy city, New Jerusalem. Well, there's also a city that's deceiving the world, that's pretending to be in the same place, coming down out of heaven from God, space. it's a universe, it's a solar system that we can move into. We can get another world to live on. What a joke. This is the deception that's in the end of the Bible, in Revelation. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I wanted to verbalize it, or just talk about it, because it's weird to me. It's weird. He's such a Bible scholar guy, and he just totally rejects what Enoch clearly says. And it's not an interpretation, or he'll bring up the word, oh, but you got to be in the right context and all this, but he doesn't really have any foot to stand on, because Enoch's telling us about the treasures of the winds, not Sean or not someone else. Enoch was. 18 verses 1 through 5. One other thing. Rob Skiba passed away, which is sad, but at the same time, we can celebrate all of the fruit, I guess I would call it, that he has had in this world, just specifically in the last 5 years. He has been a major influence on people's lives, and on people's relationship with God, and their understanding of the world we live in, the truth about it, and deep topics that many of us hadn't even hadn't crossed our minds. So rest in peace, Rob. We love you. We know that you are we'll see you soon, Rob. That's what I know. And pray for Rob's family. And yeah, we'll miss you, Rob. But anyway, Rob was I would call it he was a pillar, if I can put it that way, in the truth that has been revealed in the last 5 years or so. He's a big part of getting that truth out there and doing it according to Scripture. There's a lot to understand in these scriptures and the Bible that we're all learning from. So anyway, that was about it. So you guys all have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon.